We've had 3 very, very good sessions, and we are looking forward to a 4th very good session as well. I'm very proud and happy to introduce Dr. Ravneet Kaur to you. So Dr. Ravneet Kaur is smiling. You can all see her photograph. If you pin her, she'll occupy center stage. She's our colleague, and she teaches at Mata Sundari College. And Ravneet, if I'm not wrong, you've been teaching for the last 12 years? Am I right? 13 years.
13, yeah.
Almost right. So Ravneet has been teaching for the last 13 years. And she finished her PhD in 2017, right? Am I right? Yeah.
Right, ma'am.
And
right, ma'am. 2017, I submitted.
Yeah. And I had the privilege of being her supervisor. So that's how I know her work very closely. And she has worked on childhood, which is a fascinating area. ये जो बच्चे और बचपन, this is a very, very fascinating area for us in departments of education, because we draw from different fields of activity and from different discourses. So childhood का जो अध्ययन होता है, साइकोलॉजी में भी होता है, सोशियोलॉजी में भी होता है, ह्यूमन डेवलपमेंट स्टडीज में भी होता है, childhood studies में भी होता है. So somewhere Ravneet has put together all these and used an interdisciplinary approach. और जो बचपन का एक महत्व है और बचपन का जो एक अनुभव है भारतीय परिवेश में, Ravneet has been able to actually capture that and do very detailed work on that. Her work is also qualitative in nature. वो आपको बताएंगी और शेयर करेंगी आपके साथ. But you know, her methodology is very unique. मैं अब आपको सारी बातें नहीं बताऊंगी उसकी मेथोडोलॉजी के बारे में, बिकॉज रवनीत herself will discuss with you. जो मेरा इरादा था वो यही था कि हर प्रेजेंटेशन के साथ आप सबको समझ में आए कि डूइंग रिसर्च की जो संभावनाएं हैं, they are unlimited or unbound by time and space, and there are so many possibilities, and you can draw from the methodology of different disciplines also, because education is really like that melting pot where we can use everything which is relevant, which is interesting, and which we can validate and actually do research with. So I'm very happy to now give the screen over to Ravneet. And Ravneet, we would give you about 40-45 minutes to share your work, more if you wish, because it's your day, your screen, and we are your learners today. And after that, as usual, we will have an extensive Q&A session. Okay, so it's over to Ravneet. And for those of you who have joined for the first time, I think there's nobody excepting Manisha. Very happy to have you here, Manisha. We will all keep our videos off and our mics off so that we get bandwidth for all. Thank you very much. Over to you, Ravneet.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you first for this generous introduction and telling about my work a little bit, because you tell much better than me whenever we tell. So I'm really, really excited with a warm starting. And second, fellow researchers, because we don't get such a platform where we are talking specifically keeping in focus the methodology of our work. So thank you so much. I would request Tulika to please show us, if she can put up
just 1 minute, Ravneet. Is everybody able to hear clearly, please? सबको सुनाई दे रहा है साफ साफ? Responses? Yes. All right. Ravneet, proceed. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. If at any point you feel that my voice is cracking, then I can just switch off my video. That will help.
I'll tell.
So please inform me that. Yeah. And can I request Tulika to please present the PPT? I'll keep requesting her to change the slides. I'm just waiting for Tulika.
Tulika, are you sharing the screen, please, and Ravneet's PPT? Yeah, Tulika? Is Tulika not with us? Tulika, are you with us? Well, it does show that she's with us.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Shall I
I'll
call
try
her?
calling her. I'll
Just call
her.
her up. Yeah, call her, Manisha. Yeah. Well, Ravneet, her laptop is giving trouble. She's just joining again.
No problem, ma'am.
She
No
has
problem.
just messaged me. Do you want to tell us what your topic and all is till then? You at least tell people
Yes,
what your
ma'am. Sure.
topic is and give some introduction about it till Tulika can join us.
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah.
Sure, ma'am. Ma'am, the topic that I have given for this presentation is the journey of my doctoral research, researching with children. I think she's presenting, so we can also
We've got it. We've
see
got
it
it.
on our
Yeah,
screens.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Ravneet,
So,
my Chrome just
no, not
crashed.
at
I
all.
just
Come
joined
on.
back. Sorry.
Not at all. You've been such a sweet person. You're helping me in this. Okay. So as you can see, all of us have actually said a different title for the same kind of a presentation that we are making. So the first point that I'd like to state is that these journeys are very, very different for everyone. At least I feel so. I feel that it is a very individual journey in the sense that we all experiences it differently. The focus on the previous presentations was the method. That's how I see it. And also how each one of us struggled with that method and through the journey of research. So here I am also going to highlight these two things. Of course, if there is anything else that I would talk about, you want me to talk about, I will. So this is first about my journey. So how did it begin? So Tulika, can you please move to the second slide?
Ravneet, थोड़ा आप बीच में हिंदी भी बोलेंगे प्लीज.
Okay. बिल्कुल मैम, बिल्कुल मैं हिंदी में भी बात करूँगी. The title of my thesis was Constructions of Childhood, Exploring the Personal and Socio-Cultural Contours. Now it may seem that the title is very simple, but to come up with this title or to come up with any title, in fact, is a very, very difficult process. Because in one title, we want to capture the essence of what this work is all about, this research or this thesis or this dissertation is all about. So each word has a very different meaning in this title. For instance, when I talk about constructions, constructions is about my own construction of how I see these things. And when I say my own, I'm meaning the participant's own construction. So it is not my understanding of them, it is their own understanding which I have reported. Then why of childhood and not of children? So as we move ahead, we will see that children and childhood are often used interchangeably. But when you research about something, you realize that each word has a different meaning, and that meaning has to be upheld in the true spirit. So whether we will call it children and childhood, whether we will call it childhood, we had to sit, brainstorm, debate, and then decide upon that. Then why are we saying exploring the personal and socio-cultural contours? Now exploring because it's an exploratory kind of a study. And personal, which is my own, when I say my own, my participants' construction of what they think their childhood is, and also how social and cultural forces give different gradients and different contours to childhood. This is what I researched about. Now, when we all are doing any kind of a research, please pardon me because we have a very varied audience. We have people who are supervising PhD. We are having people who have already done PhD, so they know about methods and all. There are people who are going to think about doing PhD. There are people who are doing their MPhil. So I am presenting as a student or whosoever, I don't know. My supervisor is here, so that makes me, super conscious
They
anyways.
are all your
So
students
how do you
today.
decide? So how do you decide the research topic? Now, I think everybody talked about why they took a particular topic very differently. Differently in a sense, they had a different reason to pick up that topic. For instance, Mansi last week told us that it was her engagement with that topic through her formative years, and that made her curious about that particular topic. Similarly, for Tulika. For Rishabh also, there was a similar reason that he wanted to study social science in classrooms. So for me, when did my research topic came in my mind? मैंने पहली बार कब सोचा कि मुझे बच्चों के बारे में और बचपन के बारे में रिसर्च करनी है? मैंने अपनी पीएचडी 2012 में शुरू की, लेकिन 2005 से मुझे पता था कि शायद मैं यही जानना चाह रही हूँ. So the point here is that PhD is actually not about getting a degree. It is about finding an answer to a question that really intrigues us, that really inspires us, that is something disturbs us, and we want to find an answer to that. So there can be multiple reasons why we are taking up research, why we are taking up a particular topic. I have often seen people struggling to think कि मैं किस पे रिसर्च करूँ, मैं ये कर लूँ, मैं ये कर लूँ, मैं ये कर लूँ. लेकिन वो मुझे बहुत हैरान करता है कि कैसे हम ये सोच सकते हैं कि हम कुछ भी कर लें. मतलब कुछ तो हो जिसकी वजह से हम यही करना चाहें और इसके अलावा और कुछ नहीं करना चाहें. So it began for me in 2005 when I did my MSc in child development. I started thinking about children. There were questions that would actually haunt me to the extent that I really wanted answers to that. I wanted to know that what do people feel about who is a child. जब हम किसी से पूछते हैं कि बच्चा कौन होता है, कौन है बच्चा, बचपन क्या होता है, जीवन की अवस्था में बचपन क्या है, तो हर किसी का एक अलग जवाब है. कोई कह रहा है कि बच्चा जो है वो तो भगवान का रूप है, कोई कह रहा है बच्चे तो पल जाते हैं, कोई कह रहा है बच्चों को तो एक थप्पड़ लगा दो वो समझ जाते हैं, कोई कह रहा है कि बच्चे फूल जैसे होते हैं. वहीं हम अपने आसपास देखते हैं कि कुछ बच्चे कूड़ा उठा रहे हैं, रद्दी लोगों के घर से खरीद रहे हैं, ढाबों पर काम कर रहे हैं. तो बच्चे हर तरह की सिचुएशन में दिख रहे हैं, लेकिन फिर भी जब हम बच्चों के बारे में लोगों से पूछ रहे हैं तो वो कह रहे हैं बच्चे भगवान का रूप है. So what is it? Do we have a universal image for children? What image comes to our mind when we are thinking of children? And sometimes even older people are told ये तो मेरा बच्चा है अभी तक, चाहे उसके खुद के 2 बच्चे हैं लेकिन वो मेरा बच्चा है अभी तक. तो इसका क्या मतलब है? और क्या वो मतलब सिर्फ हमारे ही संस्कृति, हमारे ही कल्चर में है, क्या सभी जगह ऐसा ही है? तो ये सब सवालों के जवाब मैं ढूंढना चाह रही थी, और उसी के साथ मैं ये जानना चाह रही थी कि क्या जिस तरह से हम बच्चों के बारे में सोच रहे हैं कि बच्चे तो ना समझ हैं, क्या बच्चे भी ऐसा समझ रहे हैं? Do children also think that they don't make sense of their environment? They don't have a meaning-making process? What do they think about their own voices? क्या उन्हें लगता है कि वो अपनी बात कह सकते हैं, मनवा सकते हैं? अगर मनवा सकते हैं तो उनके मनवाने का क्या तरीका है? तो बच्चे अपने बचपन को कैसे एक्सपीरियंस कर रहे हैं? So these were all the questions that I always wanted to find answers to. And then I did my MA in 2007, and Namita ma'am, as always, has a personality that she can charm you. And बस मैंने तब डिसाइड कर लिया कि PhD तो करनी है तो इनके साथ करनी है, बस और कुछ नहीं सोचा. So then after that I started teaching in Matasundari College, and then for a few years I decided that I will not do PhD, I will not do MPhil, and I will only do the task that is given to me, and that is to establish the BLA department. And now this is my calling for the next few years. So my interest in this area actually follows from my learning during my master's in child development and also my master's in education. And later on, my experience of teaching the BLED program. When we were teaching BLED, so for a larger part of my teaching, we were giving a picture and we were teaching about children as if it's a universal sacrosanct picture. All children are to be taught in a similar way. All children are to be um, dealt in a similar way, which was not true. Of course, we have an observing children practicum in the second year, which makes you realize that children all over are not the same. There are social classes, and maybe children in different social classes live different kind of experiences. So I had this discomfort about um, childhood being represented in a Western tradition where childhood is similar. So I thought that maybe Indian childhood is a little different from what is depicted as standard childhood from the Western lens. So then I was convinced that I want to understand childhood even more. So when I took up this discussion with Namita ma'am, she guided me further to read more on this, develop more understanding on this topic, and I did that. And when I started my journey through PhD. It was in 2012, and then initially when you make a seminar or you make your seminar presentations or you make other presentations or you even talk to people around you, sometimes there is a sense that everybody seems to know about childhood. Children are around us, so we all, through an intuitive, we have an intuitive understanding of what childhood is all about. So everybody seems to know, and everybody seems to have their own theory about how childhood is. Sometimes this theory is so myopic that my child does this, so all children in the world are like this only, which I was definitely not convinced with. I wanted to study it systematically. I wanted to know that is childhood really what everybody is thinking? Who has really theorized it? Who has really written about it in the Indian books? So the people who were talking about it, these studies were done long back. These were not really studies on childhood, but they were talking about childhood. They were saying that this is what children are doing. So what kind of childhood they are inhabiting, that lens was missing. Then, when I did my MSc, it was in child development, and later on, the department around I think 2012-13 only, they renamed it as Department of Human Development and Childhood Studies. So when I started reading about childhood, I came across the discourses on childhood studies, and then I understood that I am trained in child development. I also studied child psychology, and we've also studied sociology. We are all looking at childhood from this lens, but there is another lens, which is childhood studies, which I had never studied really. But through readings which Namita ma'am inducted me into, I got to know more about this interdisciplinary approach to understanding children. So then I decided that I'm going to read more about it, and this tentativeness about what childhood is what I want to study about. Can we move to the next slide, please? Okay, so the primary questions that I wanted to know about were that what are these dominant constructions of childhood in India, and how does childhood gets its meaning through family processes. Uh, so this is what I wanted to know. I'll talk about these once more when I will talk about it. So, I wanted to know that what are children's and adults' perspectives on children's position as a social status. When saying social group, like similarly, childhood is a social status group. So, in what specific ways do children themselves contribute to this space? Are they social actors in constructing what childhood is all about? And then there were variables which we found, and we found that gender and social class may account for diversity in these constructions. So I wanted to take it up deeply, and I also wanted to know that does childhood as a category remains even when members keep changing. Now, what I mean by this was that this was an intergenerational study where I wanted to know whether children come and inhabit childhood as a stage, but then they also leave this stage. But when they leave this stage, do they leave this stage of childhood the same as they had entered? For instance, if I am a child, do I leave this childhood stage as I have received from other children, or do I leave it a little changed for the children to enter it? So, what is it that really is changing, and how are social forces changing it? For instance, I also wanted to know whether the childhood lived by, say, my grandparents was different from what my parents have lived and what I had lived as a child. So, the childhood of three generations, has it been static or it changes with time? What changes and what does not change? Are there also statics? So, is childhood really universal and unchangeable, or is it dependent on the context and changing every um, time? So, this is what I wanted to know about. Tunika, can we move to the next slide? Thank you. Okay, so then came the next question, and that was how to start, how to begin with it. So, Namita ma'am told me to go and understand the field first, find out what is it all about. So, I was inducting into scouting, and I thought that let me just then go and talk to children and find out, you know, I was totally apprehensive. I didn't know, why am I being sent? What am I going to do? I just had a few questions in my mind that were totally out of say context. They were like कि आप बच्चों से क्या समझते हैं, बचपन से क्या समझते हैं, बच्चों की क्या ज़रूरतें होती हैं, बच्चे किस चीज़ से डरते हैं, अच्छा बच्चा कौन होता है. मतलब इस तरह के बहुत सारे सवाल थे जो मैं जाकर लोगों से पूछ रही थी. And then I went for the scouting task. I had these few questions in my mind and started with informal interviews and conversations with parents, children, and grandparents. So the major reason for my initial scouting was to explore the themes that I'm going to then in depth that I'm going to explore in depth. And I wanted to locate the sample of participant families. I wanted to know who will be the participants of my study, and obviously to develop the tool. So I informally interviewed 20 children and parents and grandparents, and I tried to understand what they understood of children in childhood. Now, when I started asking the participants about their notions of childhood, I encountered some roadblocks. And I think those are the roadblocks which become the roadmaps later. And that is why I think Namita ma'am always inducts us to go to the field, because the field guides us. And it is really, really important to do that. I then realized why it was so important. The first and the foremost learning for me was that I was totally talking totally out of context. People wanted a context to talk about it. Just by asking these few questions, I was not getting to the depth of what I wanted. So I understood that I need a backdrop, and this backdrop, this canvas was actually the family for me. So home is considered the primary site of childhood, and family thus becomes the setting to which children naturally belong. So we decided that family will be taken up as the unit of study. Children in the family are positioned in terms of they have a social status there, and parents have a role, and grandparents have a role, and it is within these roles and role relationships with the others that we understand our own life stage. A grandparent, until becomes a grandparent, does not know the role responsibilities of a grandparent and how to conduct oneself and what that stage is all about. And likewise for parents and children. So I wanted to know what goes behind the scenes in the families where childhood gets constructed. So I understood family as the entire climate of the family, the entire ethos, what is the social milieu of the family, the cultural practices, belief systems. All these became very, very important for me. So, to understand this in practice, I decided that we will take up families as the unit of study. And what really family gives a peep into? It becomes a very important question. कि क्या पता चलेगा फैमिली में? तो बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं जो फैमिली से पता चली मुझे, जैसे फैमिली की रूटीन्स क्या हैं, हर रोज़ बच्चे फैमिली में क्या करते हैं, पेरेंट्स क्या करते हैं, बच्चे और पेरेंट्स एक दूसरे के साथ किस तरह बातचीत करते हैं, क्या काम है जो पेरेंट्स के हैं, क्या काम है जो बच्चों के हैं. So basically, what is the routine and rules of the family? What is the division of labor? Who regulates information in terms of communication? बच्चों को क्या बताया जाएगा, बच्चों को क्या नहीं बताया जाएगा, बच्चे क्या नहीं बता सकते और बच्चे क्या बता सकते हैं, बच्चे क्या कुछ छुपाएंगे, किसी के साथ आप किस तरीके से बातचीत कर सकते हो बड़ों से, क्या बच्चे बड़ों से उसी तरह बात कर सकते हैं जैसे बड़े बच्चों से बात कर सकते हैं, क्या कर रहे हैं वो फैमिलीज में. क्योंकि जब हम आप सिर्फ एक आउट ऑफ कॉन्टेक्स्ट बात पूछते हैं तो हर कोई कहता है बच्चों की सुननी चाहिए, बच्चे भी कहते हैं हमारी सुननी चाहिए, लेकिन फैमिली में क्या हो रहा है, क्या सब एक दूसरे की सुन रहे हैं. सो दिस वाज द क्वेश्चन दैट आई वांटेड टू फाइंड आउट. एंड ऑल्सो देन व्हाट आर द पेरेंटिंग डायमेंशंस, व्हाट डू पीपल सी एज देयर पेरेंटिंग रोल्स. एज अ पेरेंट मेरा क्या काम है, मुझे क्या करना है, मेरे क्या हक हैं एक पेरेंट होने के वजह से. सो how do children transgress the boundaries set by the parents? बच्चों को कहा है कि टीवी आधे घंटे देखना है, पर क्या वो आधा घंटा देख रहे हैं या वो 40 मिनट देख रहे हैं और वो 10 मिनट देखने के लिए बेग कर रहे हैं, वो टाइम बोरो कर रहे हैं, वो चिल्ला रहे हैं, चीख रहे हैं कि टीवी क्यों बंद कर दिया. तो क्या हो रहा है फैमिली में. सो टू नो ऑल दिस आई thought that it is important to go to the families. And since my study was iterative in nature, so the field guided me. The first thing that became very important was that the entire family is important. What the father and the mother are thinking will make a climate of how childhood can be enlived. Children, by the kind of experiences they are having within family and also the influences they are getting from the outside, will decide what they really want to do as children. As children, do they want to contribute in the household chores or they just want to sit and say कि हम तो कुछ नहीं करेंगे, हम तो बच्चे हैं, हम क्यों करें. तो क्या है जो बच्चे करना चाह रहे हैं. So taking the family and taking this intergenerational perspective where all family members are enacting their roles, and it is almost like the whole scene comes clear only when we get to know the role of each of the participants. So childhood is not just constructed by children, it is a social cultural context, it's a social cultural construction. So how does other actors also contribute? It became very important for me to know that. That is why I took up intergenerational study where all the three generations were present and all the generations were also talking about their own childhood themselves. Then the third important thing was I had to operationalize what I mean by children. Now when I went into the field, I just asked कि बच्चे कौन होते हैं, और वहीं से बहुत सारे जवाब भी आए. जिन पेरेंट्स के बच्चे से प्री स्कूलर्स थे तो उन्होंने जवाब दिए उस हिसाब से, और जिनके बच्चे एडोलेसेंट हैं वो उन्होंने उस हिसाब से जवाब दिए. तो ये बहुत बड़ा एक पूल बन गया, एक बहुत बड़ा ग्रुप बन गया जिनके बारे में जवाब आ रहे थे. इवन बच्चों ने भी इस तरह के जवाब दिए जिससे कि पता चला कि विद इन से एजेस, कैपेसिटीज डिफरेंटली. So it was very important to operationalize, and this was totally against what childhood studies would say. They would say that age is a very contemporary notion, and in many of the especially Eastern cultures, age is not a very important criteria to categorize people. For instance, there is a 5-year-old who would sweep the home in a say lower social class, lower socio-economic family, and there would be a 13-year or 15-year-old who would not do anything. So age is a very arbitrary number, and at many places people don't know their ages. So age does not become the most important criteria, but then I had to limit myself in some way or the other. So then, reading more research and deciding with my supervisor, we decided that 7 to 12 would be the age range about which we are going to inquire. Can we please move to the next slide? Okay, so then we move on to the theme identification. So one of the reasons was one of the things that I understood was that there are different themes on which people talk, and we need to know these themes. So I had to very closely understand what people are talking about. So there were different themes that emerged. I will talk about those themes. So my scouting task was very important because some of these themes emerged that, and I validated it through various sources. One was obviously secondary reading, talking about people who have done studies on families. There were themes that emerged. For instance, there were themes about whether there is continuity or discontinuity between children and childhood. So I tried to understand about this. मैंने ये जानने की कोशिश की कि क्या बच्चों को एक अलग कैटेगरी समझा जा रहा है. जब हम ये मान रहे हैं कि बच्चे एक अलग कैटेगरी हैं, तो हमने पहले ही प्रिजम्पशन कर लिया. पर जब हम लोगों से पूछते हैं कि क्या बच्चों के काम और बड़ों के काम अलग हैं, क्या कुछ ऐसे प्रिविलेजेस हैं जो बच्चों को मिलते हैं या बड़ों को मिलते हैं, क्या वो मार्कर्स हैं जहां हम बचपन से युवा अवस्था के लिए मान लेते हैं कि अब हम तैयार हैं. So these were explored, and then within families, what are parent-child relations? What are their interactions? What is the nature of communication and dialogue? How do parents take control of situations? How do they monitor, supervise, and discipline children? And if there are issues of conflict and disagreement between children and adults in the family, how do children communicate this and decide this? So all these became themes that I further explored. Now, after the final set of themes were compiled, these were sent to experts in the field of child development. Very important feedback came from there. So validation was a very important step in my research because what they added, that I'm talking about, it was also shared with the peer community. We
Ravneet,
organized
Ravneet,
meetings where peer community looked at
you can
the
put off your video, please, so that your audibility is better. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes.
Am I better, ma'am?
Yes, better.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Okay, ma'am. So it was validated in the peer community as well. Ma'am, am I better?
Yes, Ravneet, please go on. Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. So then, when we took up 7 to 12 group, we also wanted to know. When I'm saying we, please pardon me, it's because as a student, we always see the supervisor sailing with us in everything. So it is a combined journey and combined PhD, I think. So I can't really take myself off with my guide. Okay, so there were no significant differences in terms of age group, is what the pilot testing told me, and so we decided that there is no significant difference in the age groups, only that between 7 to 9 and 9 to 11, children are more articulate when they are a little older. And then the pilot testing was very important because it also told how to interact and conduct the interviews with the participants. And there were questions that had to be reframed, and I also understood that I need to have a facilitative list of questions both in English and Hindi, although it was totally open-ended. These questions were only to facilitate my work. It was not really a closed-ended interview where I'm asking the same question to this set of people in a same manner. It was very, very open. So I also found that the length of the interview was little more, so I had to take it to 3 times. So we took that liberty. And then the tools were also refined. For instance, I'll talk in detail about it a little later. We decided that we need to add a few more tools other than just interview schedules. So the next major task was finding out who will be the sample of final study. So we decided that since economic status is what seems to be defining what childhood is and children's lives are. So it was decided that people from higher, middle, and lower income group um, will become the participants of the study. So finding the income level was not that an easy task because people don't want to talk about it. But the income level or the economic level can also be understood descriptively as a cluster, which can be verified by assessment of one's family living, manner in which people are spending their home, residential areas. So all these variables were actually tied together to understand what income group people will fall into. So now how to approach became a very important question. So again, types of schools guided us how to enter the field. So I took up schools which were high fee paying, moderate fee paying, and low fee paying, and decided to pick up some children from high fee paying schools and others from the other two groups. And in this, I made sure that I did not take any EWS child from a high income school. So these were very simple nuances, but these nuances had to be thought in advance. We cannot go into the field without thinking about all these things. The field guides us. When we go to the field, if suppose we are actually looking at these nuances, then we must add them into our work, because this, I think, brings out the real research. So there was also a component of gender that I wove into it. I decided that gender differences have to be captured. So I took equal number of girls and boys. So then I decided that I will take intact families in terms of the parents and the grandparents are there. So in a city like Delhi, co-residence is always not possible. So a decision whether to take co-residence as an important component or not also became a very important discussion between me and my supervisor. So we decided that we will take 12 families and do the research on them. So now 12 families, when we look at 12 as a number, so it looks like a very small number, and 4 families from each income group. So I thought that, it may come as a criticism, why have you taken only 12 families, you've done a PhD on it. But then that's where I think the role of the supervisor is so important, because ma'am was so convinced that it is not a small number, because a family in a unit in itself is very, very comprehensive. And for a qualitative study, 12 families means a lot of data. And I realized it later when when I actually took my data to ma'am. That is also another story. So, so finally, the in-depth work brings out the beauty of the work and not the numbers really. If we are doing a research where we are taking only case in points, then even that is relevant enough. So it is not about numbers in qualitative research. That is what I took as a very important learning. Then approaching the family, identifying them was a very, very difficult task, because to convince an entire family to be part of a study is very different than just going to an individual and saying that I want to be part of it. Within family also, it changes a lot of dynamics. Somebody feels, why should I participate? She knows her through this. All these things happen. So getting the families to say yes was very, very difficult. So school teachers from different schools helped me prepare a list of families that may meet the criteria of income, gender, and 3 generations living together. So they helped me. And then I approached some of the families, and then through those families, I built contact with other families who then let me in. So there were a lot of negotiations that happened at that point. I had to tell them about the research. Then I had to also tell them the investment of time. It is not as if I will go one day, do my observations, do my interviews, and I will just walk away. It requires me to go to their home again and again and again. And it becomes really difficult to go to a home and just sit there, observe what other people are doing. You will not become a piece of furniture whom they will not matter sitting until you go again and again and again. So for a few visits, you just have to go and do nothing, just talk about everything in the world, and only then they get this confidence that they can be themselves when they are at home. So I remember in one of the interviews I had gone, one of the higher income group mother was with her beauty parlor girl, and she was getting her hair and everything done, and I was interviewing her. And then later on, that beauty parlor person also told me that आप मेरा भी interview कर सकते हो क्या? So it was really something very very different kind of an experience, I would say. So rapport formation took between 10 to 15 days with each family, not maybe 10 to 15 um, visits, but then 10 to 15 days. So then I decided to profile each of the children in the families. So I made detailed profiles of children and what do their parents do, grandparents do, and not just that. What do children do through the day uh, when they go to school, when they come back from school, all these things I documented in detail. So, family profiles became one of the very important things for me. Tilika, can we move to the next slide? So, then comes tools and techniques. Now, these tools and techniques are very, very important because for the purpose of triangulation, I used in number say five tools. I used thematic semi-structured interviews with children, parents, and grandparents. I also looked at observations based on home visits. Children's drawings were used. There were pictures that were adapted from Rosenweight picture frustration test and my fieldwork diaries. So, talking about these thematic interviews for children. Now, interviewing children was very, very different from interviewing parents and grandparents. There are things which parents would understand in the language that adults speak, but children will not understand and children will not give answer. So, researching with children is a very, very different thing. Now, when we are researching about children, the even if we have children's voices, we don't interpret it from the lens of the children. It is not really something which is a protocol. But when we are researching with children, we are giving them the ownership. If you look at my thesis, nowhere I say that this was say so and so family and this was the child of the family. I've said this is the child of the family and this is the child's family. So child becomes the center of the entire research. So these initial interviews with children were very different. Children would not understand what I was saying. So I had to have a starting point. So I started talking about what do you do through the day. So children's routines, what do they do throughout the day, became very important as starting points. I started talking about those. And then I started talking about what do you like, and all these kinds of things. And then I had made some of the questions in child friendly language, so I asked them things like that. For instance, instead of asking कि अगर बच्चे बात नहीं मानते तो आप उन्हें कैसे से डिसिप्लिन करते हैं, आई वुड आस्क कि अच्छा अगर बच्चों आपकी बात अगर आप किसी की बात नहीं मानते तो फिर क्या कभी वो कुछ कहते हैं, क्या कहते हैं, कभी पिटाई भी हो जाती है क्या, अच्छा पिछली बारी कब पिटाई हुई थी, अच्छा किसी बच्चे की पिटाई होती है क्या, किन बातों पे बच्चों की पिटाई होती है. सो questions were not really pre-decided and fixed, and whatever children were saying became important. And in this process, it was very important for me to give attention to children's tone of voice, because it is not always children are saying what they mean to say. Sometimes it is through the tone of voice, through their non-verbal gestures, through their body language. that we have to understand. For instance, once I went into a family who gave me some tea and some biscuits and other things to eat. So when I offered it to the child did not take it. He looked at at his grandmother, and then waited for her grandmother to nod and say "le lo." So this was a very important thing to understand. Child did not say anything, but the total gestures of the child, the non-verbal communication that happened between these family members was very important. And then there was another old lady who was sitting with her grandmother who said that कितना संस्कारी है आपका बच्चा. So what do people really think about children who are obedient? So all these things became very important. So children's facial expressions, their eye contact, all these things became very, very important for me. I made sure that all the questions were non-directive, and whenever children wanted to leave the interviews, I gave them this liberty that they can stop interacting with me. So it was important. Similarly, with parents and grandparents, it was very, very important to talk to them, but getting time with them was very difficult because many a times parents are busy with their household chores. So it became very difficult to negotiate for time. Similarly, for grandparents, they wanted to talk so much that you yourself have to sometimes say that, I have some other engagement and I have another interview planned that I want to go. Because once they start talking about their childhood, all they want to do is relive it with you. And of course, it's very exciting to hear all those stories, but at some point, suppose the interview is spanning over 3.5 hours, then you would definitely want to say that I would now want to take a leave. So this is how it was. Can we move to the next slide, please? Okay, so what did I do when I went to the homes? The first thing was that I never got, say, to sit to the same times most of the time, because parents and children had different routines. So they would ask somebody, the father would ask me to come a little late in the evening, mother would ask to come a little in the early afternoon hours. Children would definitely be interviewed after they come back from school. So every time I went, there was a different scene being acted out in the homes. So there were some days where I would sit from, say, morning to afternoon to evening, but then there were also staggered observations that I made. So I looked at how do children get ready for school, eat their meals, do homework, how do they play, how do they participate in domestic chores. So I tried to cover all these aspects. And how do parents control children? What is the kind of nature of dialogue and communication? If children want to do something, do they have an opportunity to do that? How do they negotiate with adults? All these things became very important. Can we move to the next slide, please? Now I also understood that children were not as articulate. Some children were not as articulate as others. There were some who were very happy to talk about themselves, and there were yet others who would not feel very comfortable talking to me. So using children's drawings became very important. So this was a very important technique, which is very child friendly, where the child was told to draw himself or herself at home. So it was totally open ended. Whatever they wanted to draw, they were free to draw. And then they were asked to narrate what have they depicted in the visual. So whatever was the star and the most important thing for the child, most children drew that. Some children drew themselves playing, others watching television. There were yet others who would draw themselves doing the household chores. So these became the descriptors of their worldview. For instance, in this picture, you can see this girl is watering the plant. So I said, what do you do at home? She said, मैं पौधों को पानी देती हूँ. तो घर का जो काम है वो उनके लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट था. ऐसे एक बच्चा था जो कूलर साफ करता हुआ जिसने खुद को बनाया. ऐसा बच्चा था जो पानी भर के ला रहा है, वो उसने बनाया. अब जब हम आमतौर पे बच्चों के बारे में बात करते हैं तो बच्चे क्या करते हैं कि ये जवाब आए कि बच्चे खेलते हैं, बच्चे पढ़ते हैं. लेकिन जब बच्चों ने अपने बारे में बात की कि आप घर पे क्या करते हैं, तो उन्होंने इन चीज़ों को दर्शाया. तो इसका मतलब है कि हमारे और बच्चों के पर्सपेक्टिव परफेक्टली अलाइन नहीं कर रहे हैं. Both as a researcher and as an adult, many a times we think that children think the same way that we do, but many a times children think very, very different. And unless and until we try and understand their perspective, we will not be able to understand what they are thinking. Then there were yet other children who would not agree to draw. Said हमें तो drawing भी नहीं करनी आती है. So can we move to the next slide, please? So in that case, we had to use pictures that were adapted from Rosenweig picture frustration study. Now the original had 24 pictures and they were two balloons, speech balloons. One was already filled and the other was left blank. But I used it as a semi-productive technique. So I redo the pictures and one child was shown any picture at any point of time. And it was not always that I showed all the pictures in one session also. So someday I showed something, someday I showed something and asked them questions about kya ho raha hai. And then this would open the box for me कि वो बच्चे क्या सोच रहे हैं. So there were 8 picture cards instead of 24 that I had used. Can we move to the next slide, please? Now we often talk about this fieldwork diary, which is actually something very, very important because every small thing that happened, I just used to write it here. And this helped me reinterpret my own thoughts and revise the meaning. Now it was very interesting that whenever I used to travel back from the family's homes, all the things that happen, they keep uh, revolving in your mind. They keep, say, almost hanging in your mind. And you want to tie them together like hot air balloons. So everything, if you write here, all the thoughts, everything random that comes to your mind, and then revisit it after some time and try to give meaning to all these. It really, really helps. Can we move to the next slide, please? Next come when you have the data, how do you analyze and present it? Now this is also a Pandora's box. It is not very simple. I wrote, I think 200 to 300 pages of data. All the questions that I had from all the families, all the participants, I tabulated them. For instance, बच्चे क्या होते हैं? इस सवाल का जवाब हर फैमिली के बच्चे ने क्या दिया, हर फैमिली में फादर ने क्या दिया, मदर ने क्या दिया, पेरेंट्स ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स ने दोनों ने क्या दिया, फिर उनके बीच में कंपैरिजन क्या रहा, फैमिलीज के बीच में, सोशल ग्रुप्स के बीच में, इंटर ग्रुप्स के बीच में. तो ये सारा बहुत सारा डेटा हो गया. मुझे लगा था कि उतना नहीं है, लेकिन जब लिखा तो बहुत सारा डेटा हो गया. और जब वो सारा डेटा मैंने लिख लिया तो मुझे लगा कि मेरा थीसिस तो मेजरली हो ही गया है बस अब. एंड देन आई टुक इट टू नमिता मैम एंड देन नमिता मैम सेड कि ये तो डेटा है. एंड देन आई स्टार्टेड ऑलमोस्ट क्राइंग कि ये तो डेटा है तो फिर एनालिसिस क्या है. देन शी टोल्ड मी दैट she taught me a lot of very important things. First is that what is it that we really make sense of from this data. This data is all loose threads, and when we tie them together, then comes out the beauty of what they really mean to us. As different strands, they are different, but woven together, they make something else. And what is that something else is we are really researching about. So research is not just about documenting and describing what is out there. It is also about understanding what all that means. So then I had to visit all that data. I looked at different people who have done research in all these things, how they have understood it, how different theories have looked at it. So there were some conceptual strands in my study that I was looking at. At one point, I was saying that childhood is universal, and then I was also saying childhood is multiple. In one chapter I have said that there are multiple childhoods, and then in another chapter I am saying that there is a universalistic understanding of childhood. Now these two threads are very different. They talk about different things. So how to reconcile them, bring them together, this is what ma'am really taught me. And then there were so many things that I wanted to talk about, so many anecdotes, exemplars, representative figures. So ma'am taught me that there are, these are exemplars, and we have to just handpick and choose a few of them for representation. So how data which is similar in nature, we collapse it, reframe, make new categories, new interpretations. How do we really explicate from this data became a really important learning for me. And also how to write research. Research is not just about going and finding out what's happening, also to present it to the people in a comprehensible, cognizable manner was something which was very, very important. And the more we write, the more we learn. That was really important. And then how do we maintain standards and ethics of research? So it is, very, very important to explain the goal of to the participants, um, in a very true fashion, I would say. तो जब हम बच्चों से बात करते हैं, कई बार हम सोचते हैं कि हमने पेरेंट्स से बात कर ली है तो हमें बच्चों से परमिशन लेने की क्या ज़रूरत है, इनके पेरेंट्स ने हाँ कर दी। लेकिन बच्चों की भी अपनी ऑटोनॉमी है, उनका अपना मन है। अगर हम उनसे पूछ रहे हैं कि हम आपसे कुछ बच्चों के बारे में सवाल पूछना चाहते हैं, कहीं भी हम आपके बारे में नहीं जान रहे, हम बच्चों के बारे में जान रहे हैं इससे, तो at least older children do understand and then they say कि हाँ आप मुझसे बात कर सकते हो, या जब वो कह रहे हैं कि अभी मैं ये गेम खत्म कर लूँ उसके बाद मैंने आपसे बात करनी है, तो मुझे लगता है वहाँ पर बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रहा मेरे लिए कि मैंने उनकी बात सुनी, मैंने वेट किया। बहुत बार मुझे ये प्रिटेंड करना पड़ा कि आई एम एन अडल्ट, बट दे हैव मोर पावर ऑफ नॉलेज अबाउट चिल्ड्रन दैन मी। फॉर इंस्टेंस देयर वाज वन गर्ल हु नरेटेड मी एंटायर एपिसोड ऑफ कृष्णा। दैट टाइम कृष्णा एक कार्टून आया करता था, और उसके बाद ऑब्वियसली मुझे सारी स्टोरीज पता थी कृष्णा की, बट उसने मुझे एक स्टोरी पूछी और मैंने उसमें थोड़ा बहुत यहाँ वहाँ गलत बताया, और फिर उसने मुझे करेक्ट किया एंड देन शी सेड आपको इतना भी नहीं आता है। So, there she says that being an adult, you still don't know even this much, became very important for her to give the confidence that there is something which only she knows and I am here to know that. So she opened up, she participated and talked to me. And then there were other concerns. For instance, the lower income families had really small homes and they were always sitting outside. So when we say that we should do, say, an interview in a place where there is minimum disturbance and all, that was not possible because the social context of that person is very different. They were passerbys, they were neighbors, we were sitting outside on a charpai and talking about things. So there was nothing like undisturbed. It was totally disturbed situation. But yet you have to just go on and keep asking things. So I attuned myself to these cultural specific conditions. And in research, I think there is liberty for such digressions. And then within homes also, when you tell the parents that now you go away and I'm going to ask your child some questions, sometimes it becomes really difficult for parents to go because they want their child to perform and they would continue to sit and tell ये बताओ ये बताओ। फिर कई बार मुझे ये कहना पड़ता था कि आप ऐसा करिए, मेरा ना चाय पीने का मन है तो आप चाय ले आइए। तो मुझे पता है कि अब पेरेंट्स जो है वो जाके चाय बनाने लग गई है मदर, तो अब मैं बच्चे से सवाल पूछ सकती हूँ। तो कई बार ये सब चीज़ें बहुत हैंडी और बहुत ज़रूरी होती हैं। So these were some of the learnings from the field, and so these were some things which were important. So I've already started talking about writing my research, where I said that it was very, very important for me to understand how data is presented and how analysis is woven into it. So almost towards the end, ma'am said that you need to have another chapter on conclusions, and it was a very difficult time for me to start writing that chapter. Now, it is very important, I think, what I realized that PhD for anybody, especially for women, having nothing more important than PhD in 6 years becomes very difficult. Even for men, it is very difficult because 6 years is a long period of time and life keeps changing. There are life situations which keep changing, family situations keep changing. So it was very difficult for me to have as a challenge. I wrote that chapter, and by far I like that chapter the most. And when we talk about chapterization, writing the framework, the conceptual framework, sometimes we say that go to the field and then come back and write that chapter. Sometimes we write that chapter first and then the tools also evolve from that understanding. So I think for each one of us, it works differently. It's a different style of working. And obviously, writing is really a very difficult task. We think that if we've spent, say, 2 years in doing field work, then we will write it up in 6 months. But it takes approximately 2 years to write the same thing which you have researched in 2 years. So I think keeping enough time for writing is something very, very important. Um, I submitted my first draft in February, and in the next year's August, I was able to submit my final draft. So my first draft to final draft took me more than 1.5 years. So there is a lot of back and forth that happens between. I think most of the supervisors are a little more with ma'am, I think. So, but that is what refines you, teaches you how to write. So that was really important. And then I had also not talked intensively about why I'm taking family as a unit of study. And this section was also, which was added at a very later stage. How I wrote it, I myself don't know it. I simply don't know how I wrote it, because um, at that time I had a very small baby, so with her I had to write this, and it was really difficult because I could not travel. I used internet to procure those articles, so that was also very difficult. Can we move to the next slide, please? Okay, so I think no journey is complete without the tales of submission and viva and award of degree, and then also some continuous engagement with our research topics. So I'm sure everybody has tales of submission, computers crashing, and having the most difficult time when we are submitting. So I had it all. Ma'am really had to hold my hand, compel me to start doing the last bit of my work, because it, I think, because PhD is a very individualistic journey, it is also a very lonely journey. When we are doing, say, MPhil, we are doing MAd or any other degree, we have classmates who are sailing in the same boat. So we can tell each other कि तूने कितना कर लिया, मैंने कितना कर लिया, अच्छा तेरा इतना हो गया, तूने इतने पेज लिखे तो मैंने इतने पेज लिखे. But here, there is nobody who is sailing in the same boat with you. Everybody who is doing a PhD is at a different stage. So we don't even have somebody who is at the same stage, or maybe a few of us. But then our life situations are so different. So in this long journey, somewhere or the other, there is a verge where we almost feel now we are going to break down, and breakdowns do happen. But then there are, I think this is also a role of a supervisor to hold our hand at that moment and say that, you can do it. वो जो फ्रेंडली धक्का होता है कि अब धक्का लगाया मैम ने तो हो गया, वरना तो नहीं होता. So it came for me as well. And then by the time we submit and we get to the stage of viva, a lot of things happen. Sometimes it happens that now we are not reading continuously so much about it, or we are taking up some other research work, or there is some more. There are more recent readings which have come in. So I think it was very important that I kept reading. I kept that continuous thread alive with my work. So when the Viva came, I was very happy and prepared mentally, at least, for it. And there were things um, that I was really happy about. So from submission, which was really not so happy moment for me, to Viva, which was really a happy moment. And then the award of degree, obviously, we all see it as one degree and not as end of journey with my research, with our research, I think. So this continuous engagement with one's research topic is very important. If we are doing it only for certification, then those journeys end with the award of degree. But for me, it did not end there. Even today, I am living my topic. I am living my research. It is the area in which I want to continuously engage in, and I think that is something very important. And I hope I have tried to talk about all the significant things that happened. And in the next slide, I would like to thank you all. Tulika, can we move to the next slide, please? Thank you, everyone, for such a patient listening. Sometimes I felt if you are listening or not, if I'm talking myself and the presentation has stopped, but I think everybody has heard me. So thank you all. Thank you, ma'am, for giving me. Ma'am. Tulika, can we stop the presentation? Stop the slides.
Yeah, hi Ravi. Thank you so much. I don't know if ma'am has disconnected. I'm just checking if she's still here. Yeah, I think she'll rejoin. Geeta ma'am, will you take over?
I think she's just
Meanwhile,
left the meeting. Maybe she'll rejoin.
Geeta ma'am has also left. Okay.
She has also left.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thanks a lot, Ravi. It's quite nice to go through your journey. I've been through some of this with you, so I know how much goes into the whole process, and I also know how much of personal and professional was happening. Ma'am is here. Yeah, I think. Namita ma'am, are you here?
Hello, everybody. There's a thunderstorm here. Bijli chali gayi and the internet has also gone bust. Huh. So anyway, I've put on my hotspot. I hope it lasts out. Can you all hear me? Yeah. Ravneet,
Sure,
thank you
ma'am.
very much. That was a very, very interesting presentation. And I could relive the 5-6 years spent with you on your PhD through that. You took us through a very detailed journey and you
Thank you,
talked
ma'am.
about the highs and the lows and how we sustain the highs and the lows. I think that is a great thing. And I also want to tell you, I'm very, in fact, proud to tell all of you before we open this forum up for questions and answers that when Ravneet talked about the journey continuing, just day before yesterday, we've put together an anthology which Sage has published, and Ravneet's work on her PhD is one of the big chapters there, right, Ravneet?
Right,
Apart
ma'am.
from
Thank you so much for that.
apart from two chapters by Tulika, by Rashi, so all the research scholars have contributions in that Sage anthology, और उसका नाम actually उसका नाम है अंडरस्टैंडिंग चाइल्डहुड एंड एडोलेसेंस. सो इस तरह से ये जर्नी लगातार कंटिन्यू करती है. ठीक है, ओके. अब Geeta Rai also has a chapter and Suhasini has a chapter. That's right, they're also part of this audience. So we congratulate all of you firstly. So now let's come back to the questions and answers. Tulika, were you all already in some discussion? Please carry on.
No, ma'am. We were just waiting for you. We were just starting.
Okay, so my Bijli has just come back, but I'm still on my hotspot and it'll hopefully go on. Yeah. So, okay. Now, पहले MPhil scholars, आपसे मैं कहूँगी कि आप अपने प्रश्न पूछिए. Please be forthcoming. Whatever you'd like to know from Ravneet. Yes. Anybody wanting to ask a question, please come forward. Yes, Pallavi. Pallavi?
मैम मैं रिपीट करूं क्वेश्चन?
Yes, please.
हाँ, प्लीज करिए.
मैम मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि जब आप अपना डेटा कलेक्ट कर रहे थे चिल्ड्रंस के ड्राइंग के थ्रू, तो वहाँ पर क्या आपने जो स्टार्टिंग में, जैसे कई बार मैंने ये एक्सपीरियंस किया है और कई बार अपने जो साथ वाले होते हैं उनसे बात करके भी कुछ ऐसा मिलता है कि वो लोग बच्चों के साथ जब डील कर रहे होते हैं तो बच्चे समझ नहीं पाते हैं कि क्या ड्रॉ करना है, क्या हम उनसे एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं कि वो ड्रॉ करें, और वो पूछते हैं बार बार कि क्या ड्रॉ करें, क्या बनाना है. तो क्या आपने भी कुछ ऐसा एक्सपीरियंस किया स्टार्टिंग में, और अगर किया तो फिर उसको आपने डील कैसे किया? थैंक यू.
Lovely question, Pallavi. Can I switch on my video? Can you see me? Is it okay if I on it?
Yes, ma'am.
You can see you. Sure,
I
sure,
think it will
sure.
be better like this. Okay. Okay. Pallavi, देखिए, जब हम बच्चों से बात करते हैं तो जब ये बहुत ही एक्साइटिंग जर्नी रही, उनसे कहा कि आप अपने आप को बनाइए, अपने घर में जो भी आप बनाना चाहें वो बनाइए. बार बार वो ये सवाल पूछते हैं कि मैं क्या बनाऊं, आप क्या कह रहे हो, मैं क्या बनाऊं. मतलब मैं अपने काम के बारे में बनाऊँ, मैं खेल के बारे में बनाऊँ, मैं क्या बनाऊँ? और मैं कह रही हूँ कि आप जो बनाना चाहते हैं आप वो बनाइए। मैं ये जानना चाह रही हूँ कि उनके दिमाग में सबसे प्रोमिनेंट फिगर क्या है जो वो बनाना चाहेंगे, और वो बार-बार, क्योंकि एक स्कूल सिस्टम से भी आ रहे हैं जहाँ पर और घर पर भी एक एडल्ट और एक चाइल्ड की अथॉरिटी, एस्टैब्लिश्ड अथॉरिटी उनके दिमाग में है। तो वो बार-बार ये जानना चाह रहे हैं कि एडल्ट किसको अप्रूव करेगा तो मैं वो बनाऊँ। तो पहली बात तो ये एडल्ट चाइल्ड रिलेशनशिप के बारे में वहाँ से निकल कर आती है कि वो अपनी अथॉरिटी को एक्सरसाइज इस तरह से कर रहे हैं कि वो एडल्ट से जानना चाह रहे हैं कि मेरी अथॉरिटी है क्या। दूसरी चीज़ इसमें ये है, बहुत बार 2-3 बार एटलीस्ट ऐसा हुआ कि बच्चे ने अपने बारे में जो बनाना है वो बनाया, चाहे उसने एक लाइन बनाई और कहा कि ये मैं हूँ, और ये एक और लाइन है, ये मेरी मम्मा है और ये मेरे पापा हैं और ये यहाँ खड़े हैं और ये यहाँ खड़े। वो कहाँ खड़े हैं उससे भी उनके बारे में बहुत कुछ पता चला। क्या बच्चे अपने आप को अकेला दिखा रहे हैं पार्क में, या वो पार्क भी जा रहे हैं तो वो अपनी माँ का हाथ पकड़े हुए खुद को दिखा रहे हैं। तो ये इमेजेस बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट निकल कर आई हैं। अब यहाँ पर कई बारी बच्चों ने मुझे ये कहा कि ये तो हमने बना दिया, पर ये मत दिखाना अपनी मैम को, ये बहुत गंदा है, अब हम आपको एक अच्छा बना के दिखाते हैं। और फिर उन्होंने वही पहाड़ बनाए, नदी बनाई, घर बनाया, इस तरह की ड्राइंग्स बनाई, उनमें अच्छे अच्छे कलर भरे और कहा कि अब अपनी मैम को आप ये दिखाना कि ये मैंने बनाया है, वो जो पहले बनाया था वो मत दिखाना। So the point is that it is a very, very different kind of experience when we go and do it there. And we have to understand the very, very small nuances of these things. Only then we can really do justice to our work. Have I answered your question?
Yes, I think
Yes,
so.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am, complete.
Any other questions? Anybody else would like to ask?
Yes, ma'am. Rajlakshmi. Good
Raj,
evening, ma'am.
good evening. बोलो बोलो।
मैम एक्चुअली मैं ये पूछ रही थी कि जैसे कि मैम का जो टूल्स यूज किया है मैम ने, तो ऑब्जर्वेशन भी किया है, होम विजिट्स किए हैं, तो एक तरह से पार्टिसिपेटरी ऑब्जर्वेशन रहा है। तो इसमें मैं ये पूछ रही थी कि मैम ने एक एग्जांपल दिया कि मैम जैसे कि पार्टिसिपेटरी ऑब्जर्वेशन है तो मैम वहाँ पे प्रेजेंट है, तो इसकी वजह से भी मे बी बच्चे का बिहेवियर चेंज हो रहा है। तो जैसे कि मैम ने एक एग्जांपल दिया कि मैम ने बच्चे को कुछ ऑफर किया और बच्चे ने पहले दादी की तरफ देखा, व्हेन शी विल बी एग्री देन ही विल डू दिस। तो इस केस में मे बी वो बिहेवियर चेंज मैम के प्रेजेंट होने की वजह से भी हो रहा है। तो इस तरह की और भी डिफिकल्टीज फेस करनी पड़ी होंगी अगर, तो क्या मीन्स इस तरह के सिचुएशन क्रिएट हुए थे, या फिर ये चीजें आपने ऐसे इनको अलग तरीके से देखने की कोशिश की, या फिर क्या क्या फील करते हो आप इस पे, मतलब आप क्या कहना चाहोगे? हेलो।
बिल्कुल ऐसा होता है कि जब हम रिसर्च करने जाते हैं, और हर तरह की रिसर्च में है कि जब आप जाते हो तो वो सिचुएशन जैसी है वो आपको एज इट इज नहीं मिलती है। चाहे आप स्कूल में ऑब्जर्वेशन करने जाओ, चाहे आप किसी के घर में जाओ, जाहिर सी बात है अगर आपके भी कोई घर में आ रहा है तो आप पहले तो ये देखोगे कि हर रोज जो किताबें कहीं भी पढ़ी होती है वो कम से कम एक जगह पे पढ़ी होगी।
यस।
तो ये तो बहुत नेचुरल सी बात है। लेकिन अगर आप उनके घर में बार बार जा रहे हैं और अब वो बच्चे बार बार देख रहे हैं कि ये तो दीदी आती है, और लोग भी जान रहे हैं कि आप बार बार आते हो, ये बच्चों के बारे में ही सवाल पूछते हो, आप उनके लिए कोई थ्रेट नहीं हो, आप उनके बारे में ऐसा कुछ नहीं लिखने वाले हो या पड़ोसियों को जाके बताने वाले। तो जब उनको ये कॉन्फिडेंस आ जाता है तो वो भी एक बहुत नेचुरल वे में आपके साथ इंटरेक्ट करना शुरू कर देते हैं। जाहिर सी बात है ये पहली बार, दूसरी बार या तीसरी बार में नहीं आता, लेकिन जब आप बार बार जगह को विजिट कर रहे हैं, वो लोगों को विजिट कर रहे हैं, तो एक सेंस ऑफ कंफर्ट डेवलप हो जाता है और फिर आपको एक ट्रू पिक्चर निकल कर आती है। मतलब कब तक कोई आपको दिखाएगा कि वो ऐसा नहीं है, और अगर उन्होंने इस रिसर्च का पार्ट बनने के लिए हाँ कहा है तो वो आपको वो आंसर्स क्यों नहीं देंगे जो उनके जेन्युइन आंसर्स हैं। सो कुछ वक्त के लिए हो सकता है कि लोग वो जॉब ना दें, लेकिन उसके बाद मुझे लगता है दे डू ओपन अप एंड गिव यू द राइट काइंड ऑफ आंसर्स।
थैंक यू मैम।
Rajlakshmi, I would just like to see when family is
Yes,
the
ma'am.
unit of study. You are not just making visits to the family. You're actually becoming a participant member of that family, and you're being with that family for a sustained period of time. Ravneet ने पूरा एक साल लगाया फील्ड वर्क में 12 फैमिलीज के साथ। लगातार एक एक फैमिली के साथ जाती रही, उनको आदत पड़ गई कि रवनीत के सामने कुछ हमें प्रिटेंड करने की बात नहीं है, परफॉर्म
Yes,
करने की
ma'am.
बात नहीं है, एक वो
Okay, ma'am.
नेचुरलाइजेशन प्रोसेस भी बन गया. दैट इज व्हेन वी यूज फैमिली एज द यूनिट ऑफ स्टडी. ठीक है. या
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Any other questions, please?
Ma'am, I think there are two questions.
Yeah.
Two questions in the chat box.
Okay.
Where Shweta has asked that if there was a difference between child's narration and parents' version. So it was always there, not just once, but many a times. Because how parents understand child's world and how child narrates the same thing is very different. For instance, in one of the schools, in one of the parents' directions, a father said that we sent our daughter to a particular school, but that school is not that good. So now we are planning to change the school. But and the daughter is also okay. She says we can change the school, and the reason for changing the school is actually because the teaching pedagogy is not really, which is good. When I asked the same thing to the child कि आप अपना स्कूल आपका चेंज करवा रहे हैं तो क्यों करवा रहे हैं, आपको पता है, आपसे पूछा. शी सेड हाँ पूछा था. मैंने भी हाँ बोला. मैंने बोला क्यों बोला आपने हाँ? तो उसने कहा कि स्कूल में ना बच्चे धक्का देते हैं बहुत ज़्यादा. जब हम लाइन बनाते हैं ना दोपहर में जब छुट्टी होती है तो बच्चे बहुत धक्का देते हैं. तो मैंने सोचा धक्का देते हैं तो हम स्कूल बदल लेते हैं. सो it is the same event, but what triggers that event is very different for the parent and for the child. Likewise, in one of the families, the parents said कि हम बच्चों को ज़्यादा टीवी नहीं देखने देते और बिल्कुल भी वायलेंस वाले प्रोग्राम तो देखने ही नहीं देते. जैसे ही वो आते हैं हम चैनल चेंज करा देते हैं. फिर जब यही बात उस बच्चे से मैंने पूछी कि अच्छा आप देखते हो वायलेंस वाले प्रोग्राम, ये है मतलब जो भी उन्होंने नाम लिए कि ये हम नहीं देखने देते. तो बच्चे ने कहा कि यही हम देखते हैं. तो मैंने कहा कि आप यही कैसे देखते हो? जैसे कि हमारे मम्मी पापा मना करते हैं, पर जैसे ही वो यहाँ से जाते हैं हम चैनल चेंज कर लेते हैं, उनको पता ही नहीं चलता. एक और बच्चे ने कहा कि मम्मी मुझे टीवी बंद करके सोने को कहती हैं दोपहर में, लेकिन वो तो सो जाती हैं गहरी नींद में. मैं वापस उठता हूँ, टीवी ऑन करता हूँ, टीवी देखता हूँ, जब तक वो उठती है मैं फिर बंद कर देता हूँ. तो ये तो बिल्कुल था. और इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है कि यही तो हमें जानना है कि बच्चे क्या कह रहे हैं और पेरेंट्स क्या कह रहे हैं. क्या वो दोनों एक ही बात को एक ही नजरिए से देख रहे हैं और कह रहे हैं, या उसमें डिफरेंस है. तो बच्चों ने, जहाँ पेरेंट्स ने कहा कि मेरे बच्चे तो मुझे सारी बात बताते हैं घर आकर, मुझसे सारी बात दिल की कर लेते हैं, वहीं बच्चों ने कहा कि हम अपने माँ बाप को कभी कोई बात नहीं बताते और हम तो अपने बर्थडे पार्टीज के सीक्रेट्स उन्हें कभी नहीं बताते, और कुछ बातें हैं जो हम कभी भी अपने पेरेंट्स को नहीं बताएंगे. सो आई थिंक वो कॉन्फिडेंस धीरे धीरे बच्चों को, पेरेंट्स को आप पर आ जाता है कि वो ये सब बातें फिर आपके साथ शेयर कर सकें. I think that must have satisfied Shweta.
Any other question in the chat box which you need
Ma'am,
to
एक और है कि प्रत्येक बच्चे का यूनिक अनुभव की अभिव्यक्ति भी होगी, तो आप उसका विश्लेषण कैसे करते हैं? तो सब बच्चों का एक यूनिक अनुभव तो रहता है, लेकिन एज अ सोशल कैटेगरी बच्चों का कुछ एक्सपीरियंस एक जैसा भी होता है. जैसे अगर बच्चे खेलने के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं तो सब बच्चे खेल के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. हाँ, क्या वो खेल रहे हैं और कैसे खेल रहे हैं वो थोड़ा बहुत डिफरेंट हो सकता है. जैसे सभी बच्चों ने कहा कि जब हम खेलते हैं तो हमारे माँ बाप कहते हैं कि हमें घर के पास ही खेलना है और घर के बाहर की गली में खेल सकते हैं, सोसाइटी में खेल सकते हैं. एक बच्चे ने कहा कि नजर चुरा के पार्क में जाके भी खेल सकते हैं. तो यहाँ अब आपको मेजॉरिटी ऑफ चिल्ड्रन आर सेइंग दैट वी प्ले नियर आवर होम एंड देयर इज वन चाइल्ड हु इज सेइंग कि हम नजर बचा के दूर जा सकते हैं. तो वहाँ वो वॉइसेस ऑफ ट्रांसग्रेशन भी हैं जो एक उसका यूनिक एक्सपीरियंस है, और बाकी सबका भी खेलने का एक्सपीरियंस क्या है, उनमें कुछ यूनिवर्सल पैटर्न्स भी दिखते हैं. तो दिस स्टडी इज अबाउट बोथ ऑफ देम.
थैंक यू मैम.
भावना, आप कुछ पूछना चाह रही हैं, आप पूछिए. हाँ Bhavna, are you there? She's not there. चलिए, who else wants to ask? Please feel free to ask. Pooja.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, Pooja. Yes.
Ravneet ma'am, thank you so much for your presentation. मेरा ये सवाल है कि जब आपने प्रोजेक्शन टेस्ट कि आप बच्चों को पिक्चर्स दिखाई, तो बच्चों ने जो बबल्स फिल किए तो उनके रिस्पॉन्सेज आपने डायरेक्टली लिए या फिर उनको भी आपने एनालाइज किया? क्योंकि बहुत बार ऐसा होता है बच्चे जब बोलते हैं उसमें भी मल्टीपल लेयर्स होती है एंड वी हैव टू इंटरप्रेट व्हाट दे रियली मीन। तो आपने कैसे फिर उसको एनालाइज किया था डेटा को?
एक्चुअली उसमें क्या था कि पहली बात तो ये कि जैसे उसमें कॉल आउट्स बने थे, उसमें ये नहीं था कि एक सवाल है और एक जवाब है। उसमें कोई भी, वो सिर्फ एक स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट था कहानी का। अब उसके आगे वो बच्चे उसे जहाँ मर्जी जिस डायरेक्शन में ले जाएं, इसकी उनको पूरी खुली छूट थी। तो जैसे एक वहाँ पे है जहाँ पे एक बच्ची बैठी है खाना खाने और उसकी माँ आ रही है। तो उसमें बच्ची ने कहा, मैंने कहा कि माँ क्या कह रही है? तो उसने एकदम सहम कर कहा कि माँ ने कहा कि तुमने खाना खाने से पहले हाथ नहीं धोए। मैंने कहा अच्छा, फिर इस बच्चे ने क्या कहा? तो उसने कहा कि कोई बात नहीं, बाद में धो लेंगे, फिर कभी धो लेंगे। एक बच्चे ने उसी में कहा कि माँ ये कह रही है कि आज खाना कम है तो इतना ही खाना मिल सकता है। तो बहुत सारी लेयर्स हैं। अब पहले में हमें ये पता चल रहा है बच्चे के कहने के अंदाज से कि नहीं धोए तो कौन सी बड़ी बात हो गई। दूसरे में ये पता चल रहा है कि हमें बचपन में कमियां भी देखनी पड़ती हैं, सीमाएं हैं उसकी भी। इसी तरह एक और बच्ची ने भी यही बात कही कि हाथ नहीं धोए, तो उसने कहा कि मैं मम्मी को सॉरी बोल दूंगी और अगली बार से हाथ ज़रूर धोऊंगी। तो वहाँ वो पेरेंट्स की अथॉरिटी, तो हर एक में अलग अलग चीज़ें, जैसे आपने खुद भी कहा कि मल्टीपल लेयर्स हैं चीज़ों को समझने की, तो हर एक में एक अलग अलग लेयर निकल के आ रही है। तो उसका कॉन्टेक्स्ट क्या है और ऑब्वियसली बच्चे ने क्या समझने की उसमें कोशिश की है, कहने की कोशिश की है, वो समझना बहुत ज़रूरी है। आई थिंक। थैंक यू।
Ravneet, I think ma'am is again disconnected temporarily. Is there any more question in the chat box? I'm just checking. Please give me a minute. Is there something from the students?
There's one by Bhavna, I think.
Yeah.
हेलो मैम।
What?
हेलो।
Hello. Hello.
हाँ जी हेलो मैम, आई वांट टू आस्क कुछ आपने फैमिलीज को कैसे कैटेगराइज किया डिफरेंट फैमिली इनकम ग्रुप्स में? और मतलब जैसे अगर लोअर,
ना जवाब मैंने, हाँ
हाँ जी
बोलो।
और जैसे लोअर फैमिली ग्रुप है तो आपने उसको कैसे चूज किया? वो मतलब क्या इनकम के हिसाब से उनको चूज किया गया और वो उनके एक्सपीरियंसेस क्या थे? और उसके अलावा जैसे ऑब्जर्वेशन कर रही थी आप, तो क्या आप उतना बराबर टाइम दे पाई ऑब्जर्वेशन में हर फैमिली ग्रुप को? और कुछ चैलेंजेस भी होंगे चिल्ड्रंस के, तो कुछ क्या थे? जैसे अगर वो बहुत ही एफिलेंट फैमिली ग्रुप के थे तो उनके चैलेंजेस शायद अलग हो सकते हैं लोअर फैमिली ग्रुप के बच्चों से।
इसीलिए मैंने हर फैमिली के बच्चों को, फैमिली को प्रोफाइल किया,
जी
उनकी यूनिक लाइफ सिचुएशंस के बारे में लिखा। तो पहली बात ये थी कि उनको कैसे कैटेगराइज किया। मैंने अपनी प्रेजेंटेशन में भी कहा कि जब हम लोगों को इनकम के बेसिस पे ग्रुप करने की कोशिश करते हैं तो बहुत बार लोग हमें अपनी इनकम का ट्रू पिक्चर नहीं देना चाहते। उनको वो बहुत बड़ा इंट्रूजन लगता है कि हम अपनी इनकम के बारे में क्यों बताएं। लेकिन चुरी और चक्रवर्ती की रिसर्च ये बहुत क्लियरली बताती है कि जब हमें क्लासेस में, सोशल क्लासेस में से या सोशल इनकम ग्रुप के हिसाब से हमको उनको कैटेगराइज करना है, तो सिर्फ कितनी इनकम है, कितना उनका पैसा आ रहा है, इससे ज़रूरी नहीं है कि हम उसको करें। द टाइप ऑफ रेजिडेंस दैट दे आर लिविंग इन, ठीक है, उसके बाद वो किस लोकेलिटी में रह रहे हैं, उनके बच्चे क्या मॉडरेट फी पेइंग स्कूल्स में जा रहे हैं, हाई फी पेइंग स्कूल्स में जा रहे हैं या लोअर फी पेइंग स्कूल्स में जा रहे हैं। ये सब चीज़ें जो हैं, उनका स्पेंडिंग पैटर्न क्या है, व्हाट आर द मटेरियल रिसोर्सेज दे हैव एट होम, ऑल दीज हेल्प इन डिसाइडिंग कि उनका सुपर सोशल क्लास क्या है और उसी से उनका इनकम ग्रुप जनरेट होता है। तो दिस बिकेम द मार्कर्स फॉर मी। मैंने पहले भी बताया अपनी प्रेजेंटेशन में कि मैंने स्कूल लिया, जो लोग अपने बच्चों को हाई फी पेइंग स्कूल्स में भेज रहे हैं, जैसे मान लीजिए CGD गोइंका में भेज रहे हैं, उनकी सोशल क्लास और जो बच्चे सरकारी स्कूल में जा रहे हैं उनमें डिफरेंस होगा। तो तो इसीलिए मैंने स्कूल के थ्रू फैमिलीज को आइडेंटिफाई किया, ठीक है। और जैसे मान लीजिए अगर मैं आपको लोअर इनकम ग्रुप के बच्चों के बारे में बताऊं, तो उनकी मदर्स जो हैं वो एक डोमेस्टिक हेल्प का काम करती थी, एक की मदर जो है वो पूरी फैमिली धोबी थे वो लोग, और आयरन करते थे, कपड़े प्रेस करने का काम करते थे। तो माँ वहीं कपड़े धोती थी और वहाँ पर बाकी पूरी फैमिली मिलके कोई प्रेस कर रहा है, कोई कपड़े डिलीवर कर रहा है, ये सब करते थे। और एक के फादर वैन ड्राइवर थे, एक के फादर जो है वो जो आर्टिफिशियल ज्वेलरी पट्टों पे लेके घूमते हैं मार्केट्स में, वो उस काम मतलब वो पर काम करते थे। एक के फादर जो थे वो अपने घर के बाहर ही सिर्फ एक टेलरिंग एक मशीन रख के, स्विंग मशीन, और ऑल्ट्रेशन का काम करते थे, ठीक है। तो इनसे आइडेंटिफाई हुआ कि ये लोअर इनकम ग्रुप के लोग हैं। इनमें से कुछ थे जो सरकारी कॉलोनी के नीचे गिराज होते हैं, तो उन गिराज में रहते थे। कुछ थे जो उसी सरकारी कॉलोनी की लोकेलिटी में किसी के घर के बाहर एक छोटा सा शेड छप्पर जैसा डाल के और वहां रह रहे थे। तो इन सब से आइडेंटिफाई होता है कि वो किस सोशल या लोअर इनकम ग्रुप को बिलोंग करते हैं। अब बच्चों के साथ जो चैलेंजेस थे, बच्चे मुझे नहीं लगा ऐसा कि वो मेरे साथ इंटरेक्शन में कोई ऐसा मैंने चैलेंज फेस किया, क्योंकि हर जगह बच्चे मुझसे उसी तरह से इंटरेक्ट कर रहे थे। तो मुझे ऐसा लगा नहीं कि हाँ, फैमिलीज का इंटरेक्शन थोड़ा डिफरेंट था। जब आप लोअर सोशल क्लास फैमिली में जाते हैं तो वहाँ पर उनके तौर तरीके, आप कहाँ बैठ रहे हैं, कहाँ बात कर रहे हैं, वो आपको क्या देने खिलाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, वो आपके लिए चाय बना रहे हैं तो उनके लिए बहुत बड़ी बात है कि वो आपको चाय का कप पिला रहे हैं। आप अगर हायर इनकम ग्रुप फैमिली में जाएंगे तो वहाँ भी वो कोशिश करेंगे आपके लिए कुछ बनाएं, ताकि आपके साथ उनकी भी एक रैपो बन रही है। तो वो सब तो आप हर फैमिली में देखेंगे। और चैलेंजेस, जहाँ तक बच्चों के आर्टिकुलेशन की बात है, तो वो चैलेंजेस मुझे ज़्यादा लगे नहीं कि किसी भी फैमिली में मुझे लगा हो कि बच्चों के साथ रैपो बिल्डिंग या आर्टिकुलेशन के चैलेंजेस हैं। सो दैट आई डिड नॉट फील।
Thank you, Ravneet. And next person,
Okay, thank you,
anybody else?
ma'am.
Yeah. Anybody open to teachers, colleagues, everybody now. जो भी कुछ कहना चाहता हो, शेयर करना चाहता हो, open to all. Yeah.
Mansi, I think I've answered the first part of your question. How were the families chosen? They were routed through schools and then through contact tracing. I chose the families. And how did I overcome my own inhibitions? We had no inhibitions. I had a researcher. Sorry.
I just wanted to ask, wasn't it imposing, interfering at times, because आप families के साथ उनके पास जाके सब लोगों से बात कर रहे थे, तो कभी ऐसा नहीं फील होता था आप इम्पोज कर रहे हो या इंटरफेयर कर रहे हो? तो अगर ऐसा होता था तो कैसे, how did you address? That is what I wanted to ask. Thank you.
अकेले मानसी, मुझे कभी ऐसा फील नहीं हुआ, क्योंकि पहली बार वो फैमिलीज विलिंगली रिसर्च में पार्टिसिपेट करना चाह रही थी। तो हार्डली कभी किसी फैमिली में मुझे ऐसा लगा कि मैं ज़बरदस्ती उनसे सवाल पूछ रही हूँ, वो जवाब नहीं देना चाह रही। अगर किसी पर्टिकुलर डे पे कोई नहीं बात करना चाह रहा है, चाहे उसने मुझे टाइम दिया है, मुझे बुलाया है, तो इट्स ओके, मतलब आई कैन कम बैक। रिसर्च में तो ये अप्स एंड डाउन्स तो आपको फेस करने ही पड़ते हैं। आज मैं पहुंची, उन्होंने मुझे टाइम दिया था, वो भूल गए, उन्हें कहीं जाना था, आपको वापस आना पड़ेगा। आप बारिश में चाहे छाता लेके उनके घर पहुंचे हो, फिर भी आपको वापस आना पड़ेगा। तो मुझे ऐसे मतलब पर्सनली, या तो जो भी चैलेंजेस आए, मैंने कभी उन्हें चैलेंज की तरह देखा ही नहीं। मुझे लगा ठीक है, ऐसा तो होता ही है, तो सबके साथ होता है, मेरे साथ भी हो रहा है। तो मुझे कभी ऐसा कोई फील नहीं हुआ कि किसी फैमिली में मैं ज़बरदस्ती पाइल ऑन कर रही हूँ, क्योंकि families, I think they were all okay with being part of this. And when you are talking about people's own childhoods, it is also a journey, you know, that they lovingly partake, they lovingly take. They want to tell about कि हम तो बचपन में ऐसे करते थे, हम तो ये करते थे, ये बच्चे तो सुनते नहीं, ये जवाब देते हैं। ये सब आप कैसे चाइल्डहुड बदला, इस सवाल पे आने से पहले कई बार वो सवाल खुद ही शुरू हो जाता था जवाब, कि हमारे टाइम में तो ये होता था, अब तो बच्चे ये करते हैं, इनको इतना कंप्यूटर आता है, हमें तो आता ही नहीं है, ये पता नहीं कैसे इतनी जल्दी सीख लेते हैं। तो ये सब बातें अपने आप ही निकल के आती चली गई। बचपन एक आई थिंक ऐसा मुद्दा भी था, ऐसी रीजन भी था जिसपे सब लोग बहुत ही कैंडिडली बात करना चाह भी रहे थे। Thank you.
Geeta wanted to ask something. Geeta Rai, would you want to come up and ask something? Yeah. Because I could see Geeta unmuting many times. Geeta?
Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Good
Yes,
evening.
ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am, and thank you so much, Ravneet, for the lovely presentation. Of course, in the last part, I missed out because of the connectivity problem. You may have answered, perhaps, but I just wanted to ask you one thing. Since you had taken this thematic perception test, that it tests even the repressed emotions. Did you find any case like that, that any child has certain kind of problem and then you went out to counsel that child? Hello?
No, no, Dr. Geeta. I did not find that anywhere. In fact, there were other things that were important. For instance, there was this child who said that every day I go with my grandmother to the Gurdwara. For instance, the grandmother actually worked as a sweeper in the Gurdwara. So he said that I go with her because her eyesight is very weak and she's not able to see even the road to the Gurdwara properly. So I'm scared that she may just she's prone to an accident. And his mother said that because my son does not economically, contributes well to the family, so even at this stage I have to do this. And there were children who said that sometimes my grandparents don't have money to buy medicine, so whatever money is given to me, I keep it and I then give it to her to buy medicines. So these are that anything.
Ravneet, 1 minute. I also think what you need to say is that you only used a few pictures from Rosenwick's picture frustration test. You only
Yes,
used
ma'am,
a
yes.
few pictures. Your aim was not to tap repressed emotions or anything, because you were trying to understand the nature of childhood, right? So the whole purpose was very different. Yeah.
Okay.
Right,
I
ma'am.
got
There
it.
were only eight pictures that I used out of the 24.
Mm-hmm.
So it was not really a big number. And whatever children were drawing, they were talking more about that and not really about those pictures in there.
Geeta, anything else?
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you
You're
so much.
welcome. You're welcome. Anybody else would like to ask anything? Anybody else? Most welcome. Comments, suggestions, clarifications, anything you're seeking? No questions? Anything in the chat box?
मैम एक क्वेश्चन है मेरा।
हाँ जी, हाँ पूछिए नारायण पूछिए।
एक्चुअली मैम मैं फर्स्ट टाइम स्काउटिंग वर्ड सुना था रिसर्च में, तो अकॉर्डिंग अभी स्लाइड में मैंने देखा है मैम को कि वो जैसे पायलट एनालिसिस करती हुई, मतलब उसमें एक प्री इंटरव्यू जो पेरेंट्स का स्टूडेंट के साथ हो रहा है स्लाइड में, तो उस प्रोसेस को थोड़ा सा मैम बताएंगी कि स्काउटिंग आप क्या समझा था आपने अपने रिसर्च के दौरान, तो वो थोड़ा सा समझेंगे तो अच्छा होगा मुझे।
Can you please tell the question once again? Because your voice is breaking.
I'll tell you. Ravneet, he wants to know what the notion of a scouting task is. How is this different from a pilot? Is it like a pre-pilot? And इससे क्या लाभ होता है? इसमें क्या assumptions होते हैं scouting task में?
आई थिंक मैम इसको तो आपने ही पिछले हफ्ते बहुत ही ब्यूटीफुली एक्सप्लेन किया है कि इन दोनों में क्या फर्क है. Scouting is basically getting to know the field. It is your first engagement. It is your first so-called, even I would say the word encounter with the field. You go there to know what it is all about. Because sometimes we read theories, but we don't know what the ground reality of that place is where we want to conduct it. That may be totally different from what the theories tell you and negate you. In fact, what theories to even fall back on and how to make your tool. As I said, the themes emerged from scouting. I said that I was not initially taking families as a unit, but then it told me that there is a context that is required and family is what is needed for that context. So it is to give direction to your work. So for that direction, for knowing what is out there, it is very important. Pilot is when you have really, well, how I understand is when you have developed your tools and you want to know say the doability or feasibility of those tools. You want to know the time frames. You want to refine your tool. For that, pilot testing is required. Ma'am, can you please also enlighten us a little bit more on this?
अभी तो टाइम नहीं है इतना, बट एक्चुअली द मेन चीज है कि यू नो आप आसमान में सपने ना बनाएं, आप फील्ड में जाके रियलिटी देख के उस रियलिटी से अपने आप को वाकिफ करें. यू अंडरस्टैंड दैट. आप और प्रश्न लेके आइए वहां से और उसके आधार पे फिर आप कुछ अपने फॉर्मुलेशंस और असम्पशंस तय करिए. दैट इज व्हाट द स्काउटिंग टास्क. टू स्काउट मीन्स खोजना, ढूंढना विदाउट एनी presumptions or assumptions or presuppositions in your mind. ठीक है नारायण?
Thank you ma'am. Thank you so much ma'am.
Okay. और कोई कुछ पूछना चाहेगा, कहना चाहेगा? Anybody else? Okay. So then I would take this opportunity to thank Ravneet. I think we are all wiser on childhood by attending her presentation and also on how to research children and childhood. और सवाल अभी भी वही रहता है कि बच्चे क्या हैं और बचपन क्या है. बहुत ही ये आसान सवाल लगते हैं बट हैं बहुत गंभीर. And there's a whole theorization process which goes into answering these questions. And I think Ravneet made a very beautiful sequential presentation कि ये प्रश्न कब उसके मन में उभर के आए. उसने अपनी 15-20 साल की जर्नी भी आपके सामने पेश की. एंड जैसे मैंने कहा कि अब वो एक किताब भी लिख रही हैं इस पे और उनका एक लेख भी छप चुका है इन द सेज एंथोलॉजी व्हिच वी हैव ब्रॉट आउट. सो यू नो रिसर्च इज आल्सो वेरी यूजफुल एंड इफेक्टिव when you're able to share it with the larger community, both as doing research and both in terms of contribution to academic discourse. Ravneet, I want to thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thanks a lot for giving me this opportunity.
Very good session, very informative, is heart, you know. Thank you all. So we'll close the meeting now. Yeah. Bye everybody. Stay safe. Be careful.